For today's recipe, we are going to make vegan lemon drizzle cake. And I just want to say before we start the video that I've been mainly going for staple recipes that I've made quite a lot to begin with in this sort of series. And soon we'll be going on to more adventurous recipes and things that I think might challenge you, or sort of more interesting recipes that you will enjoy. So I've just put the oven on to 180 degrees and we're just about to grease this tin. You only need a tiny little bit of butter and to just spread it all the way around the edges of the tin. You can use oil, or you can line the tin if you'd prefer. If you want a crust around your cake, you can also add sugar inside and it should do a nice little coating around the edge, make it a bit crunchy. There we go. So now we're going to weigh out 4 ounces of vegan butter into a small pan, and we're just going to melt it gently on the top of the hob. So now that is melting away, we'll go back to check on it in a minute. We're just going to measure out the unsweetened soy milk that we're going to use for the recipe. You can use any plant milk that you prefer, but generally it should be unsweetened if you can, because we're going to be adding our own sugar in. So we need 175 millilitres. There we go. And what I really love about this recipe is because basically all it is the zest of the lemon, the liquids and the dry mixed in. It's such a simple recipe to do and really, really quick. We are just going to zest one of the lemons. Be very careful of your fingers. I had a couple of friends who zested their hands the other day, so that's not a good thing. And just gradually make your way all the way around. Now you want to make sure it doesn't go any further than this, because as you start going to the pith, it sort of goes very bitter, and that's why we only really want this. So now I've just gone to collect the melted butter from the stovetop. We're now going to put the zest and the liquids into the bowl, and then we will start to add the dry ingredients. So it doesn't look terribly appetising at the minute, but in no worry, because we are about to add in all of the dry ingredients. We're just going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm just going to do it by eye, but yeah, I would use a teaspoon. There we go. So we have self-raising flour, we have sugar. I'm using caster sugar, but I do also add a tiny bit of demerara sugar as well. Use half teaspoon of salt. There we are. 5.3 ounces of sugar. I'm mainly using caster sugar, but I'm also going to use a little bit of demerara sugar. That was a lot less than I anticipated, but that's fine. I'm just going to add that in. Here we are. Give that a little mix. There we go. Still looks pretty horrible, I'll admit. But no fear, we'll just add in the flour, which is going to be 7 ounces. Now I'm just going to sift it in, although you don't have to do this. I think it makes a great deal of difference, but you can sift it if you want to. Here we are. And there's one thing I've forgotten to add, which is pretty important, just like I did with the banana recipe when I forgot to add in the bananas, is adding in the lemon juice, which we will definitely need. Just going to add in the lemon juice, which I forgot. And what I do to get out most of the juice is just to roll it like that. So you just push down on it and roll it, and it should start to feel like it's getting softer. And then just to cut it, there we go, like that. And you just need to make sure you don't get any of the pips inside the cake mixture. There we go. I normally just cut my hand so that I make sure I don't get any extra pips in there, like these little ones. And then I just squeeze it into it. There we go. There's always an extra one. I find, although this feels a bit weird sometimes, I think it's a lot better for getting out all of the juice than using one of the squeezers, because I feel that they tend to miss quite a lot of the juice. It'd be wonderful though if you had like a lemon tree in your garden. Oh, the dream. And if you think this might not be quite lemony enough for you, at the end we're going to add a sugar syrup on top. Still a tiny bit lumpy, so I'm just going to use a whisk instead, just to try and get out the tiny little lumps that are in there. There we go. Now that is ready to put into the cake tin. Now we're just going to pour it in. And again using the spatula, which is the children's least favourite utensil, because it gets all of the extra little bits out from the bowl, which we really want for our cake. Now this is going in the oven for approximately 40 minutes, but I would keep checking on it. The difference between this cake to most others is because it's vegan, we're not going to add eggs in. And generally the eggs might give it a tiny bit more lift and a slightly browner colour when it's ready to take out the oven. So do sort of check it maybe about 30-20 minutes in and then leave it back in there. So just stick in a skewer and check whether there's any cake mix. So let's put it in the oven. So it's 35 minutes in and we're just gonna check it. Let's have a look. So it's very brown now. And we're just going to stick it in. Perfect. So it comes out very clear. There we go. I'm just making a glaze to go on top of the cake. You can use water or lemon juice or whatever you like, and then you add in some sugar and heat it up. And once it's heated up, you just poke holes into the cake and pour it over. You can also use icing sugar and a tiny bit of lemon juice, but I have a very horrible love-hate relationship with icing sugar, so I'm going to go for the glaze instead. And you just let it dissolve. So now we're just going to take it out of the tin. I just run the knife down each edge just to make sure it isn't stuck. And then I hold it, tap it, and hopefully it will pop out. There we go. Just like that. Here we go. And I've just got a cocktail stick and I'm just going to pierce it along it. You don't have to do this, you can use the icing sugar instead, but I really like using the glaze. The glaze we've just made, I'm just going to pour over the top. And it should just soak in to the little holes we've made. This should also keep the cake really, really moist. Whereas if you use the icing sugar one, it will just be like a drizzle on top. Here we are. A lovely soft lemon cake, and the drizzle is just coming through. And it's got a nice crisp on the outside as well. So, thank you everyone for joining me for making this. I really, really appreciate it. I have been actually overwhelmed by how many people are actually enjoying these videos. I thought not many people would, so thank you very much. And I hope you come back for the next one. Please let me know how you get on with this recipe and send me any photos, or if you need any tips with anything else, just let me know. I hope you